Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be discussing with you on assertive behavior and communication. So I'm Rima Stanley, tutor at Triple College of Nursing. So the objectives of this video is at the end of this video, you will be learning about what is assertive behavior, assertive communication, basic human rights, the response pattern, and the behavioral components of assertive behavior. Okay, so assertive behavior promotes a feeling of personal power and self-confidence. So these two components are commonly lacking in people with emotional problems. And becoming more assertive empowers individuals by promoting self-esteem without diminishing the esteem of others. So now let us see what is assertive behavior. So it means communicating with others in a direct and honest manner without intentionally hurting anyone's feeling. So according to Alberti and Emmons, assertive behavior actually promotes equality in human relationship, enabling us to act in our own best interest, to stand up for ourselves without undue anxiety, to express honest feelings comfortably, to exercise personal rights without denying the rights of others. So, assertive behavior helps us to feel good about ourselves and increase our self esteem. And it helps us to feel good about other people and increases our ability to develop satisfying relationship with others. So this accomplishes it's accomplished out of honesty, appropriateness, and respecting one's own basic rights as well as by respecting those of others. So here honesty is the basic to assertive behavior, and assertive honesty is not and it doesn't mean that it is an outspoken declaration of everything that is in one's mind. Instead, it is an accurate declaration of one's feelings, opinions, preferences, in a way that promotes self respect and respect for others. Now, what do you mean by assertive communication? It is expressing your point of view in a way that is clear and direct while respecting that of others. So, this communication can be direct communication or indirect communication. So, usually, direct communication is stating what you want to convey with clarity and candor, while indirect is such as hinting, beating around the bush are example of indirect forms of communication. So communication in assertiveness must occur in an appropriate context to be considered as assertive. So the location, the timing, as well as the manner, such as the tone of voice, the non-verbal gesture in which communication is presented must be correct for that situation. Now let us see the basic human rights. So the first right is the right to be treated with respect, which means to treat others in a way that recognizes their human dignity. Second right is the right to express feelings, opinions, and beliefs. So to accept ownership of our feeling and show respect for those that differ from our own is our responsibility. Next is the right to say no without feeling guilty. So, your responsibility is to analyze each situation individually and recognize all human rights as equal. Next is the right to make mistake and accept responsibility. So, to accept responsibility for on mistakes and try to correct them. Next is the right to be listened to and taken seriously. So, at the same way, your responsibility is to listen to others. Next, the right to change your mind, that is, to accept the possible consequences that the change may incur, and to accept the same flexibility in others is the responsibility that we must do. Now, to ask for what you want. So, your responsibility is at the same time to accept others' right to refuse your request. Next is the right to put yourself first sometimes. So, your responsibility is to put others first sometimes too. Next is the right to set your own priorities. So, your responsibility is to consider one's limitation as well as strengths in directing independent activities to be a dependable person. And the last one is to refuse to justify feelings or behaviors. So, to accept ownership of own feelings, behaviors, to accept others without requiring justification for their feelings and behaviors. So, with this, you should remember as a nurse that in accepting these rights, an individual also accepts the responsibilities that accompany them. Rights and responsibilities are reciprocal entities. So, to experience one without the other is inherently destructive to the individual. Now, let us see the response pattern. So, every individual develops patterns of responding to others, and some of these patterns that has been identified are such as watching other people, example role modeling, being positively reinforced or punished for a certain response, inventing a response, not being able to think of a better way to respond, and not developing the proper skills for better response or consciously choosing a response style. So as a nurse should be able to recognize your own pattern of responding as well as that of others. So here are some of the four basic responses, that is non-assertive, assertive, aggressive and passive aggressive. Now, what is non assertive behavior? The individuals who are non assertive, which is sometimes called as passive, they tend to seek mainly to please others at the expense of denying their own basic human rights. So they seldom tell their true feelings or show it, and often they feel hurt and anxious because they allow others to choose for them, and often they do not achieve their desired goals, and they tend to be more apologetic and tend to feel guilt. They use actions instead of words, and they just hope that somebody would guess what they actually want. Um, their voices are often very weak, hesitant, and express in a monotonous tone. So their eyes are also usually downcast. They are unable to maintain eye contact. They feel uncomfortable, especially in an interpersonal uh, communication or interactions, and all they want is to please and to be liked by others. So these behaviors basically help them to avoid unpleasant situations, especially while confronting with others, but often they harbor anger and resentment because of that. So let us see some of the behavioral characteristics of non-assertive behavior. That is, they tend to be passive and does not express true feelings, and they deny own right. while examples of their responses include like, oh, well, sure, I will be glad to stay and work an extra shift, etc. While goal is to please others and to be liked by others. And their feelings often they are anxious, hurt, disappointed, with self, angry, and resentful. So, if you look at the outcomes, their goals are not met, while others meet their goals at the expense of theirs. And usually, anger and resentment grow, and they feel violated and manipulated. Now let us see what is assertive behavior. So assertive individuals they stand up for their own rights while protecting the rights of others, and feelings are usually expressed openly and honestly, and they take responsibility for their own choices and also allow others to choose for themselves. So they maintain usually self respect and respect for others by treating everyone equally and with human dignity. So they often use the statements such as I, and their voices are warm and expressive, and they maintain also an intermittent eye contact, but at the same time direct. So their communications is effectively being communicated at the same time they are being respected for it. So self confidence and experience, they feel self confidence and they experience satisfaction and also have a pleasurable relationship with others. So let us see what are the behavioral characteristics for assertive people. So they stand up for their own rights and protects the rights of others. They are honest, direct, and appropriate. Some examples are like of their conversation is like, I don't want to stay and work an extra shift today because I stayed over yesterday. It is someone else's turn today. So the goal is merely to communicate effectively and to be respected by others. Their feelings usually they are very confident, successful, proud, and self-respecting. So the outcome is usually, they meet their goals, their desires are most often fulfilled, while defending own rights as well as the rights of others. Now let us see aggressive behaviors. Individuals who are aggressive, they defend their own basic rights by violating the basic rights of others. And their feelings are often expressed dishonestly and inappropriately. And they do not say what is there, they say everything what is there on their mind and at the expense of others. They and often they tend to put down others. They and the person who encountered this person might feel hurt and humiliated because of this. And aggressive individuals they devalue the others, especially they impose their choices and they express too much of air of superiority, and the voice is loud, demanding, very angry and cold. They make eye contact, however, mainly this is to intimidate the others by staring at them. So they want to basically increase their feelings of power by just dominating and humiliating others. So let us see what are the behavioral characteristics of an aggressive behavior. So they violate the rights of others, they express feeling dishonestly and inappropriately. Example of the conversation is like, you have got to be kidding. So, and the goals is mainly to dominate and humiliate others. Their feelings are usually self-righteous, controlling, and superior. While if you look at the outcome, the goals may be met, but at the expense of others, and they feel very hurt and vengeful. Now let us see what is passive aggressive behavior. So individual here they defend their own rights by expressing resistance and obstructiveness in response to the expectation of others. So these individuals are often manipulative, and they undermine others with behavior that expresses the opposite of what they are feeling, and they are highly very sarcastic and critical and make choices for them but then resist by using passive behavior such as procrastination or stubbornness, etc. So and they use lot of action instead of words to convey their message, and these actions are express covert aggression. They also become irritable, argumentative when they are asked to do something they do not want to do. So they may protect to others about demand but will not confront the person who is making the demand. So this may actually lead with a demand by forgetting to do it. The main goal here is to dominate through retaliation, and the behavior offers a feeling of control and power. And although passive aggressive individuals actually feel resentment and that they are being taken advantage, they possess extremely very low self confidence. So let us see what are the behavioral characteristics of passive aggressive individuals. They tend to defend on right with passive resistance, and is critical and sarcastic, often express opposite of true feelings. So here are some examples of their conversation, such as, okay, I will stay and work an extra shift. Then to the peer, they would say, how dare she ask me to work over again? Well, we will just see how much work she can get out of me, right? So the goal is merely to dominate through retaliation, and the feelings are usually anger and resentment. They are manipulative and control. While their goals usually not met, nor are the goals of others met due to retaliation nature of their interaction. So with this, we have come with all the four responses of assertive behavior. Now, let us see what are the behavioral components of assertive behavior. The first one is eye contact. Well, this behavioral components was given by Alberti and Emmons, and basically they have identified several defining characteristics of assertive behavior, and here are some of them which is being listed. So eye contact is basically considered appropriate when it is intermittent, that is looking directly at the person to whom one is speaking but looking away now and then. However, individuals may feel uncomfortable when someone stares at them continuously or constantly. Okay, so intermittent eye contact conveys the message that one is interested in what is being said. Now, body posture. So here, sitting and leaning slightly towards the other person in a conversation basically suggests an active interest in what is being said. So, an assertiveness can be achieved by standing with an erect posture and also squarely facing the other person. However, a slump posture conveys passivity or non assertiveness. Next is distance or physical contact. The distance between two individuals in an interaction or the physical contact between them again has a strong cultural influence. For some example, in United States, intimate distance intimate distance is considered approximately 18 inches from the body. So we are very careful about whom we allow to enter this intimate space. So invasion of this space may be interrupted by some individuals as very aggressive. Next is gesture. Non-verbal gesture may also be culturally related. Gesturing can add emphasis, warmth, depth, or power to the spoken words. Facial expression. So there are various facial expression that convey different messages. For example, frowning, smiling, surprise, anger, fear. So it is difficult to fake this message in an messages. So in assertive communication, the facial expression is congruent with the verbal messages. Next is voice. The voice conveys a message by its loudness, softness, degree, and placement of emphasis and evidence of emotional tone. Next is fluency. Fluency means being able to discuss a subject with ease and with obvious knowledge, conveys assertiveness and self-confidence. So this message is impaired by numerous pauses or filter words such as and, or you know. Next is timing. Assertive responses are most effective when they are spontaneous and immediate. However, a lot of time, most people have experienced times when it was not appropriate to respond, or times when an appropriate response is generated only after the fact. Thoughts. So, a cognitive process affects one's assertive behavior, and two such processes are an individual's attitudes about the appropriateness of assertive behavior in general, and second, the appropriateness of assertive behavior for himself or herself specifically. Listening. So, assertive listening means giving the other individual full attention by making eye contact, nodding. This is mainly to indicate acceptance of what is being said and taking time to understand what is being said before giving a response. Content. Many times individuals do not respond to an unpleasant situation because they just do not know what to say. Perhaps what is being said is not as important as how it is. So emotions should be expressed when they are experienced. So it is also important to accept ownership of those emotions and not devalue the worth of another individual to assert oneself. And the last one is persistence. This element of assertive behavior speaks to not giving up, that is, to refrain from concluding that the individual is not worth whatever it is he or she is pursuing. So, the element of persistence simply means applying them again and again as needed. So, with this, we have completed all the behavioral components of assertive behavior. So, keynotes. Assertiveness is a healthy way of communicating, and it's the ability to speak up for yourself in a way that is honest and respectful. So, here are the 5 C's in assertive communication, that is to be clear, concise, confident, courage, and control. So, with this, I have come to the end of the video. References are Mary C. Townsend, Psychiatric Textbook for Nurses, www.nim.in, Government Health Topic, and www.webmed. Thank you for watching.